All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk LEC. First and foremost, I have to keep harping on it. I am so tired of this format. I think it's good that at least the teams are not playing 3 BO1s, because let me tell you this, the 3 super weeks in a row has really hurt the development of teams. Like, I am not the type of person to fucking I'm not fucking the type of person to talk ass about, oh, the format is going to save the West or any type of conversation like that. But I'm telling you, playing super weeks of BO1s is terrible because you don't get any practice days. It's like no other region has this many game days just squeezed in. BO1 single round robin is omega bad. And when you play 3 BO1s straight, I really hate it. And I'm sure there's a way in a world where the LEC needs to maintain this goddamn 10 teams where we can't remove 2 teams, because if you have 8 teams, it's very easy to make the format better, right? That's the advantage that the LCS has right now. They have 8 teams, they can play best of 3s, no problem. They can schedule 2 days, no problem, because the LEC doesn't have the capacity to schedule more work days. LCS is more interesting right now. I think their product, I think that they have made something fun out of the fact that they don't have a big budget, while the LEC like really got hit in the balls, man. Really hit in the balls. Yo, Dom just wrote me that he leaked the fact that me and him are making a show together. Let me make it official here as well for everybody that's watching. The Sackdown is coming to town. The Sackdown's coming. The Sackdown's coming. A long time in the making. The Sackdown. Holy moly. It's the show that you didn't know, but also on some intuitive spaceship level did know that you needed. The Sackdown. Me and Dom, we're gonna make it spicy. The Sackdown. I'm telling you guys, the Sackdown is gonna be the best show of all time. Hysterics cast viewers, thank you for the raid. But let me tell you about the Sackdown. The Sackdown, we will cover matches. We will cover players. We will have people on. We're gonna invite people from Rogue Management and ask them, why is your team so ass? We are gonna ask the tough questions. We're gonna use our connections, our deep roots in the scene to have the conversations that you all deserve to hear. Me and Dom, we watch more Major League of Legends than anybody else. We have eyes for this shit. 16-hour streams, we do those just so we can sit there and say, I watched every one of these games. I watched your team run it down here. I watched this team be great here. This player right here, we like him because of all that shit that we've seen. We are completionists. And just like that, we will also complete your entertainment needs. The Sackdown. I'm happy that Dom could leak it. I'm happy that Dom could leak it. I'm happy to say it out loud. LEC. Fucking LEC, man. The format, man. The format's ass. We need to cut 2 teams. But there needs to be a better way to do the format. Like the format is solving a problem that is terrible to have, bro. Like, imagine your leg is bleeding. Your leg is bleeding, yeah? Your leg is bleeding, and you're like, yo, let's cut it off instead of fucking using some band-aid and not walking through thorn bushes every morning. Because how the analogy works, right, is that people, the only reason everyone celebrated this format is like, yeah, I don't need to watch the 2 worst teams in the league, yes. That's a weird fucking thing to celebrate. And that's the equivalent of, yeah, I'm not bleeding from my leg anymore, but you ain't got no leg. You ain't got no leg. You get it? So let's be honest. The LEC, they need to fix the format somehow, man. These best of one super weeks. I can tell you from a team side as well. From a team side, it's painful. Because you have to play B1, 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 right? It's fine. This time around, we had 4 weeks. We had 4 weeks. I don't mind that at all. 4 weeks. That's better. 3, 2, 2, 2. Okay. And then the argument was the LEC, they want to raise the stakes. They want to raise the stakes from every match. But the thing is, at some point, all stakes become meaningless, right? All stakes become meaningless if everything has stakes. And imagine this, okay? Imagine this. Let's say you're a low-budget team, developmental. You're trying to piece it together. Because the LEC right now is a win-all or eat-ass type league. There's no one that can take the developmental approach and say, yo, we just brought in Jackies and D'Antonio, and we want to work with these players, we want to build on something, we want to make something more happen. No, you can't, because of the format. Everything is about performing quick, performing fast, or go fuck yourself. It's like either you make top 3, you go to top 1, or go fuck yourself. That's what the league is. That's what the league is, man. Imagine, guys, as we talk about the format, the next point, the topic is how it's going to look like for these bottom teams, right, that need to make it through. There's going to be teams that are done with their season in June. There's going to be players that are on a paid contract and they have 4, 5, 6 months ahead of themselves of doing nothing. Nothing. You do none. You do none. And then you ask yourself, you know, Abedage got the offer, right? Abedagio was asked, yo, do you want to play LEC this year? If you play LEC this year, be ready. We know that Bloody is going to play next year because we believe in Bloody. Okay? Our plan here on KC is that we are going to rebuild around Bloody and Kalis. That's our plan for the future. We're going to get Boda. We're going to try the Targamas Kalis, run it back. And then we will see what we do about Jungle. Jungle's unclear to us. All right, cool. KC's got a plan, a battle plan. They got some mercenaries in, restructured the roster, get some fresh air going, you know. It's working for KC. God bless them. It's working. Abedage thought to himself, bro, why should I play in the LEC? There's a chance I'm going to play 9 games. There's a chance I'm going to play 9 games. In LFL, bro, I'm playing way more games in the LFL. I get playoffs, I get BO5, the roster's good, I'm chilling. I got EMEA Masters. Very difficult. Very difficult. Looking at the standings, so we have a very clear top 4. Okay, very clear top 4. BDS, SK, Fnatic, G2. Very clear top 4. The other 6 teams, the other 6 teams, they are wrestling with some problems. But KC here, with the wins that they snuck, with the steal from Mad Lions after being 10k goal behind with the Jinx, the natural steal from Closer and the better draft with the Camille and the Aphelios, And now finally, KC, they have recognized how to solve their biggest problem. Their biggest problem has been, how do we connect Elias Lip to the game? The jungle and the support, closer than Targamas, they don't know how to pressure on the mid wave. Right? They don't know how to pressure on the mid wave. And they solved it by picking champions, AD carry champions that make you not need to connect on the mid wave. They need to be playing more Kai'Sa. They need to be playing more fucking Zeri. These are the right champions. Because when they are playing champions where they need to contest on the mid wave and they need to harass with the Varus, with the Kate, or whatever, it doesn't work. Don't do that shit. Casey doesn't know how to pressure on the mid wave. If Upset is playing a champion where he can farm on his own and he can connect on his own, way better. Way better. That Kai'Sa game was delicious. Was really, really good. Really good. And it was the most important win. Because I think if KC goes 0-2 next week, I think the chances are that they are still going to make it. Because we have so many teams here that are just below them in the standings. Very, very rough. Let's look at some of the key matchups. We have Rogue versus GX. If I look at these 6 teams in the bottom, I unironically think that GX is the team that has shown like the best potential in my mind. I think GX is the team. I like how Jackie's is playing. I like how Tony is improving. DeAntonio, honestly, DeAntonio and Jackie's are doing the heavy lifting on this team. I think usually when it comes to this team and what they misexecute, it's like I'm looking at Ignar in terms of some of the engages he botches. I think Juhan is slowly getting better too. I think GX is probably the team that interests me the most out of the teams that are in the bottom 6. Casey's in a wonderful position, you know, they got that win in. That's very good for them on the qualification. But GX, man, I think GX is gonna smoke Rogue. I think GX is a lock-in, man. I think GX is going to make it through. I'm not gonna lie, man. I had 0 expectations from DeAntonio. I thought he was a slot-in because Odoamne is not a fucking team player, man. Odoamne, let me show you this, yeah? Shout out to Odoamne. It is what it is. You know? I don't want to beat a man who is laying down. But my man exited on playing Jace. Exited playing Jace, bro. This is some Nidalee level delusion. Okay? This is the equivalent of playing Nidalee. He exited playing Jace, my man. Tony, I thought when GX hired Tony, they are just saying, yo, you are going to fucking play tanks for us, and we are going to play around our bottom side. All right, standing desk, baby. I thought that was the plan. But Tony is doing so much more, man. Do you see how many, bro, this guy is racking up solo kills, bro. He's solo killing caps on side on the Tristana, bro. The Rumble. I like him. I like him. I think GX is a shoo-in, mate. I think GX is a shoo-in. I think they're gonna make it. I think especially with this matchup against Rogue, it's a big game here. GX have an easy schedule. GX versus Rogue, GX versus KC. I think GX is going to go, bro. I think they're gonna go, mate. They're gonna go, mate. They're gonna get in. GX is getting in, man. They're shoo-in. GX is getting in. I'm a believer. I think KC is gonna get in too, but by the virtue of them being 3 and 4. And GX versus KC is gonna be the battle of the gods here, man. GX versus KC. Let's take a look at some of these other homies. Rouge against Mad Lions. Rouge against Mad Lions. You know, Mad Lions is in such a shit spot. They are in such a shit spot, they need to pray that certain things happen. Team Heretics have impossible schedule. Team Heretics playing Fnatic and G2. There's no way in a million years that Team Heretics is gonna steal a win off of G2 or Fnatic. Fnatic can be popping perks or whatever the fuck. Doesn't matter, man. They are not losing against Team Heretics. Team Heretics have no edge, no spice. It's bland rice, broccoli, chicken. Nothing there, man. Team Heretics is going to be stuck on 2-7. So we have a 2-7 team slot in already. Mad Lions, the big one's going to be against Rouge. So if you imagine now GX winning, Rouge losing 2, Team Heretics losing 2, Mad Lions winning 1 against Rouge, we have some 2-5 action here. Vitality also have a rough schedule. We're going to have, if everything goes as I expected, we're going to have 4 teams on 2-7. Ooh. Let's do some math here. Let's pull up paint. 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 Painted. We painted black, like the Rolling Stones. So, let's check Rogue's head-to-head. Their head-to-head is Rogue beat Team Heretics and Team Vitality. Okay. Team Heretics and Team Vitality. So they are 2-2 in the head-to-head in the 4-way tie. 2-2. What else do we have here? We have Team Heretics. Team Heretics took a win of GX and KC. So in the head-to-head, Team Heretics would straight up be 0-4. Because their head-to-head against KC and GX doesn't matter in this outcome that we talk about. Team Heretics are just 0-4 dry. Damn. And then we have the Mad Lions. The Mad Lions, let's assume they get that win against... They have a Team Heretics win, and let's say they assume they get that Rogue win. They got 2-2. Take it right, red space for the Prime. 2-2. 2-1, sorry guys, 2-1, 0-3, 2-1, sorry guys, MDK. And then the final team, where do we have them? The final team, Team Vitality, has taken a win off of Mad and Heretics. Vit, 2-1. Let's pull up the rule book. So LEC rule book 2024. Let's pull it up. What is this ad is bigger than my forehead? Let's pull up tiebreakers. Page 28. Page 28. What are the tiebreaker rules? Tiebreaker guides. All tiebreakers will be played as a single best of 1 game. Tiebreakers will be scheduled at the sole discretion of the league. For all tiebreaker games, the right for side selection will be determined by the head-to-head record of the teams playing the tiebreaker. Tiebreaker games will not be played if their outcome will not have any competitive implications. If 2 teams have the same SOV score, the team with the favorable head-to-head has the advantage. Wait, SOV is counted? SOV is counted before head-to-head? No way. In the event that 2 teams are tied, let's say 4 teams. If 3 or more teams are tied, the head-to-head record of all teams against all the other teams involved in the tiebreaker will be considered. All right, we considered that. This means that if 1 or more teams have lost more than 50% of the matches in aggregate against every other team in the tiebreaker, they are automatically granted a higher, lower place available in the tiebreaker, and a new tiebreaker is declared amongst the remaining teams. Wait. Whoa! 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 Does this mean that Team Heretics is out? Or are they lucky because it's 4 teams? Because their record is so trash. They are 0-3 against the other teams. If one or more teams have lost more than 50% of the matches in aggregate against every team in the tiebreaker, they are automatically granted the lower places available in the tiebreaker. So Team Heretics need to win. So Heretics is just straight up cooked. Woo! And a new tiebreaker is declared amongst the remaining teams. So let's run the tiebreakers in a case where we only have Rouge versus MDK versus Vitality. Let's read them and weep. So we have Rouge against Vitality, 1-0. They are 1-1. So Rouge is 1-1 in a three-way tie. MDK would then be, they would have to, MDK would have to win against Rogue to make it through, right? They would have to win against Rogue, and they have Team Heretics. So they're also 1-1. 1-1. And the Vitality is what? Vitality is beat MDK, beat Team Heretics. Okay. So everybody's 1-1. Everybody's 1-1. And then the question is, if the teams have identical amount of games won against each other, the SOV score will be taken into account, with the teams with higher SOV score being granted the highest seed. So in a world, I think the way the rule set works is that you don't go out on a tiebreaker, right? But this is a different case because it's 8th place. The tiebreaker is not. So basically, we need to just calculate who has the highest SOV score. We're going to have to calculate who has the highest SOV score. So MDK took a win off of Team Heretics and Rogue. Their SOV score is trash. Vitality took a win of Mad Lions and Team Heretics. SOV is trash. Team Heretics beat KC and GX. That might be worst. That might be the worst SOV score. Because they beat KC. KC is a 10. KC is fucking 10 SOV. They are the worst SOV. The win against KC is really meaningless. And then MDK beat Team Heretics. Spring playoffs. We have okay, let's restart this. No. Okay, let's start with Rogue. Rogue SOV would be Rogue beat Team Heretics and Team Vitality. Team Vitality what year is this? Team Vitality was 4th. Fourth. Team Heretics was 5th. Then we have Vit, Mad Lions, and Team Heretics. So 5 plus. And then Rogue, who were 9th. Isn't SOV? SOV is counted on the split. The end of each regular season split, the teams shall be ranked from 1 through. So this has to be of the same season, right? So it has to be of the same season. It has nothing to do with spring. So calculating SOB is kind of pointless. Because at the end of the day, whoever has the strongest SOB will automatically get 7th spot. Because they can only be tiebreak for 8th. Strongest SOB gets 7th. Realistically, KCGX is the best SOV since he'll be on more wins. That's completely irrelevant, Iderino. It's stated in the rulebook. It's stated in the rulebook. If 2 teams are tied for 8th place, they'll play a tiebreaker game to determine final standings. If 3 teams are tied for 8th place, teams will be drawn into a single elimination bracket. If there's a tie between 4 or more teams that involve 8th place, all ties for 7th place and above will be resolved using head-to-head record and SOB score if necessary. But tiebreaker games will be played to resolve the 2-way tie or 3-way tie involving for 8th place. So SOB will decide 7th place. There will never be a tiebreaker. There will never be a tiebreaker for 7th. SOB score and head-to-head record will solve 7th place no matter what. So 3 teams will compete. And the bracket that will appear is like one of these brackets, you know? Like it will be... the lower seeds need to play twice. You need to win 2v1s. So in the case where this plays out, like it's very good for Team Heretics then. It's very good for Team Heretics that they have their wins against GX. Their wins against GX and KC will be very valuable for them. So Team Heretics might just get 7th for free. Just because their wins are more valuable. Their wins are more valuable than the MDK wins, or the VIT wins, or the Rouge wins, because they win against each other. This isn't the case where everybody's 2-7. So Team Heretics, theoretically, just for beating GX and KC, has beaten stronger teams. So Team Heretics would get 7th. That is hilarious. That is really, really fucking funny. That is really, really funny. So there's a world where Team Heretics just auto qualify. And then these homies 1-1. Let's just double check the second win that these teams got. So Mad Lions, the second win would be, well, Team Heretics would then be a 7th place team at the end of the standings. And then you have Vitality who beat Mad and Team Heretics. Well, the rest of these scores are exactly the same. The rest of these scores are exactly the same. Vit and Mad. Then Rouge. Rouge have Team Heretics and Vit. That's fucking funny. Just because 8th place. Wait. SUV doesn't matter. SUV doesn't matter. Team Heretics will be fucked. Their head-to-head is trash. SUV comes 2nd. Team Heretics is 0-3 against these teams. SUV doesn't matter. SUV doesn't matter. Team Heretics is actually cooked. I was right the first time. Okay, they are cooked. I was right the first time. God bless. But then theoretically, Team Heretics is 10th before the tiebreaker resolves. So the teams that beat, well, they all beat Team Heretics. The goofy thing here, right, is that all of these teams beat Team Heretics and then they beat each other. So how the fuck is strength of victory fucking the result here? They all beat Team Heretics and then they beat each other. So Team Heretics will be the lowest seed. There will be a bracket. Team Heretics. But these teams beat each other and Team Heretics. In situations where exactly two teams have the same match winning percentage, the team who has the head-to-head advantage will be considered higher in the strength of victory score. In all situations where more than two teams are tied, the tied teams shall each be counted at the highest possible position, with the next team who is lower than the tied teams taking the next available position. If three teams are tied in second place, they'll all be +9, and the team directly follows them in place will be counted as being 5th place, and we'll have an S of score of 6. But this doesn't explain. We have a problem. We have an SOV problem. Because these teams, Team Heretics 10th. And then these guys are shared 7th. And they all beat Team Heretics. So they all of them beat a 7th place team, and they beat Team Heretics. The issue is, guys, they are 1-1. They are 1-1-1. All of them. It's a circle. Guys, we don't need people in the chat that don't know shit to espouse their opinion. Because Rogue beat Vitality. So Rogue beat Vit. Vit beat MDK. And MDK beat Rogue. And they all beat Team Heretics. So they are 10th. They are 7th. Their head-to-head is exactly the same, and the SOV is exactly the same. The contradiction is, if there's a time between 4 teams or more teams that evolved 8th place, all ties for 7th place and above will be resolved using head-to-head record and SOV score if necessary. But tiebreaker games will be played to resolve the 2-way or 3-way tie and involve the remaining teams tied for 8th place. For example, if 5 teams are tied for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, all of them have equal 8 head but different SOV scores, the teams with the highest SOV score seed into 5th, 6th, and 7th place. The 2 teams with the lowest SOV score play a tiebreaker game for 8th place. It doesn't say what happens in the case where there's no case here where the SOV score is not enough. So in a case like this, they just have to play the 4-way tie, right? They have to play the 4-way tie. They have to play the 4-way tie. There's no other way around it. There's no other way around it. They have to play the 4-way tie. They have to. There's no other way. So they have to play the 4-way tie. So the 4-way tie, it has to be, the tiebreaker scenario is here. That it has to be played, right? Because otherwise, why would they have these ties? So the 4-way tie will be played. So if SOV is exactly the same, if head-to-head is exactly the same, then the rule in place here for the 7th doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Then we will play a classic 4-way tie, and they will be drawn based off of game time. The teams will be drawn in the two first round matches based on their victory time. The winners of game 1 and game 2 will then face off in game 3, while the loser face off in game 4. So it's a turbo bracket. No. Heretics, you are guaranteed a tiebreaker if you have the same score to play for 8th. It's guaranteed. It is guaranteed. So we're going to have a 4-way tie. So we know that the Team Heretics will be the lowest seed. The team with the best game time will face off against them. I don't know who that is, like bits. I don't know game time. 7th. And then losers play, and then loser play against this. Wait. Vindo, what are you writing? What are you writing, SOD? What are you saying, SOD? You're acting so smart, let's see. Okay, Vindo, you have your chance, you have the floor. You are so fucking smart, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Congrats, bro. Head to head is tied. It can't be tied. It can't be tied? Really? Interesting. How it's tied, they play one game. All right, so we gave the floor to a man who is 6 steps behind. Shit. You know, Vindor, I wouldn't be roasting you right now if it wasn't for how high and mighty you were acting, man. I wouldn't be roasting you right now. It's like, you guys don't even read the document. All right. So we're going to have a 4-way tie. That's gonna be based off game time. Bro, we're gonna have the longest LEC day ever, man. We're gonna have the craziest long fucking... We're gonna have a long one. We're gonna have a long one. There's basically one game, game 2, game 3, game... Let's read this again. The teams will be drawn in the first 2-round matches, game 1 and 2. Based on the victory time, the winners of game 1 and game 2 will then face off in game 3, while the loser face off in game 4. The winner of game 3 will be awarded the highest standing, being decided by the tiebreaker, and the loser of game 3 will be awarded the next highest standing, being decided by the tiebreaker. The winner of game 4 will be awarded, so the game 4 is completely useless. The game 4 is just completely useless. They are playing for points. They are playing for points to qualify to nothing. It would be too fucking funny if they are going to be forced to play that shit game. How crazy would that be, man? The game for 4th, it's actually, this doesn't matter, this is a lie. If you win this, you are 7th/8th, period. You're in. You're in. You just have to win 1v1. They are playing for points. They are playing for 10 points. That's fucking funny, man. Actually, you play for no points. What's the point? Okay, they shouldn't play the game. The points, there's no points. There's no points, guys. There's no points. Yeah, of course, none of them, maybe none of this matters. But I think it's very high chance that we will have 4 teams on 2-7, guys. Very high chance that we're gonna have 4 teams on 2-7, let's be honest. Very high chance, I think. We're gonna have the battle of the bastards. George R.R. Martin could never make stories this great. But I think KC, you guys are a lock. The rest of the region, I don't know. I think Fnatic versus G2. I guess people want me to comment on that, right? Fnatic versus G2. Like I think people are jumping to 2 big conclusions. It's like the issues that Fnatic showed at MSI, 5 BO1s, 6 BO1s, 10 BO1s is not going to reveal the issue of them. The issue is that when pressure's on, they play like ass. And the truth is that BO1 was a terrible dive into another terrible dive into a terrible dive into I don't know what happened to Razork, bro. They paused and in the camera we see him shouting at the referee, man. Shouting at the referee. I think a lot of I understand Fnatic fans, they want to get excited, you know. But I'm trying to understand here. Maybe I'm fishing for drama here, bro. But there was a pause that happened.
Did come out from humanoid.
Look how mad Razork looks here. Okay, look at the camera. My boy Ivanchuk.
From the rest of his team. Already see them moving into the river. They know they have a tempo advantage, but G2 now that you can already see onto the map. Looking test them, but G2 now that they're back, can already just clear out some vision.
Hey, they deleted the footage. They deleted the footage.
They know they have a tempo advantage, but G2
they deleted the footage.
Looking to try and contest them, and it's just this period of the game where it's a lot of back and forth between just control.
No way! No way! They deleted the footage. What happened here?
Objectives to play for. So
look at Russell Cam.
To just clear out some vision. As Fnatic slowly starts to extend the vision a little deeper, you can already see them moving into the river. They know they have a tempo advantage.
Oh, this top wave is so bad.
Look!
He's losing so many minions, it's crazy.
Looking to try and contest them. And
yo, Razork's PC just turned off. Yo, pause.
Control for vision. Oh.
Did you see Razork's cam? You could tell his PC just turned off.
Yeah, he can do those too.
I can tell you that the pause did come out from humanoid.
He clipped it.
I'm sure Razork's PC turned off. Did you see that?
They're just 10
look at this. Look at this cam. Look.
The towers
you can see the moment his PC turns off. Yo, I can't pause. Yo, I can't use my keyboard. I can't even pause.
It's just about as close as you can
and then Humanoid's laughing. Whoa.
This is Razork right after.
Life Esports invaded him on red, took his red.
Look at Razork.
The towers. Whoa, Razork's dead. Oscar's not there, guys. What are we doing? Oh, the game's over. It's over. Game's over. Yeah, I crashed into the wall. That was pretty funny.
I don't know.
They just lost.
Bro, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, guys. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. But what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? I'm not gonna lie, man. This game, honestly, I think I was surprised by how botched some of these dives were, man. Like, they botched so many dives, and the thing is, I don't want to blame Noah, right? Because the thing is, a champion like Ezreal, regardless if he's ahead, Ezreal is a champion that can't leverage advantage super hard. He's time-gated, you know? It's like, your accelerated gold on Ezreal isn't that big of a deal. He got Trinity, and then Hansama recovered the game with the dive that they did, right? You guys remember this shit?
our regular season summer matchup. Again, Fnatic are game. We're only 6-0.
LCK and Caps hit it in the LEC.
Whatever for the boss, right?
So we had the first botch dive on bot, which, like, obviously here, it's like the usage of spells is just atrocious, you know? Atrocious. Like, Yak needs to start with Q, plain and simple. He needs to W into Q, so he doesn't get Q'd. And then they need to CC chain June very easily. He gets, the thing is, he gets Q off before. Like, there needs to be Sejuani W, Q off of Renata auto, Renata tanking, because you need to do Sejuani damage, and then you kill this for free, there's no problem. The fact that Yak died here is terrible, because if Yak doesn't die here, it's the freest dive of your life, you know? You just go, Hansama tanks it, Sejuani swings her spells again, he dies, and then the game is over. Because Yak kind of misplays here, plain and simple. And then Noah plays this situation well, you know. But it's like, Ezreal's base is strong, but this is so fucking true. Like, he's basing on a zombie ward and just giving advantage back for no reason, man. He's basing on a zombie. Like, obviously, these players, maybe they care less about a BO1 and so forth, but...
You're basing on a blue orb, Noah. What are you doing?
Look at the... Jun?
Here, the game position looks wonderful. It looks insane for Fnatic. It looks like Fnatic is going to be able to win this game. But sometimes, I think a lot of teams, players in particular, they don't understand the impact of their lead. The thing is, like, imagine, alright? Imagine, like, you sign to work up for you're working for a startup, right? And there's a vesting period. They give you ownership, but there's a vesting period for 4 years because they want you to be, of course, aligned with what the company wants. They want your talent and you are going to be rewarded for your work. There's a vesting period for the stocks you're going to get. In the case of, for example, Ezreal, his base here, Sheen and so forth, is pretty solid. He has 700 gold ahead. But this 700 gold advantage is the most significant when he reaches the vesting period of finishing completed item like a Trinity Force. Riot has changed that most components nowadays are very weak. They are very, very weak. So the lead of an Ezreal, or any champion for that matter, happens at the point in time where you finish recipes. Sure, there's outlier cases where you buy serrated Dirks and BF swords and these components can matter and swing matchups top lane. But in the case of Ezreal, I don't think it matters as much unless you allow yourself to reach Trinity Force. But here we have the play, right?
Drop set or the next one. Because Zach can...
See the Fnatic.
There's Oscar's passive on cooldown, and you have red buff on the mid.
And then Fnatic do this.
Ooh, Oski, that ult was
so Razork is level 6.
Here comes the bot dive.
And Razork Q's air. Doesn't get it on the cleanse. Ezreal ult.
And it's scuffed.
And the arrow.
And you have red buff on the mid, so it's gonna tiger you. Oh, and Razork's gonna die. And we just threw the bot dive. And whoever dives bot loses the game. I just realized the game. Oh my god.
What on earth, man? What on earth, man? This game was insanely disappointing. Insanely disappointing. And I think it's very, very silly to think. Like, I think I'm happy the Fnatic is working on the issues, whatever. But there's nothing they can show us in BO1s that is going to prove to us that they haven't dealt with their main issue. And that is how they manage pressure. And this was the first pressure-filled game, and Fnatic looks as per usual. The domination that they've had in the regular split, they have played these drafts in the past. This is the peak of Fnatic, you know, easy games, easy storms, best of ones with no pressure on them. Like, you can't jump to great, big conclusions off of that. Fnatic has the ambition to beat G2 domestically, right? That's the ambition. And you can't be blinded by the fact that they're winning a couple BO1s and G2 is slumping a bit in BO1s. Because G2, to their credit, you know, what they do in BO1s, I couldn't give 10 fucks about. And I think in Fnatic's case, the same thing. Fnatic's case, the same thing. The BO1s is just like a fucking red carpet that they woke up on. The only stress that these teams encounter, the teams that are below in the standings, they are the ones encountering the pressure and the stress here. Fnatic has never been not close to qualify. Yeah, maybe last year in fucking spring, because they didn't qualify, and in summer, in spring and winter, sorry. But I mean this Fnatic roster, okay? This Fnatic roster. For the rest of the teams, I think, honestly, BDS and SK, I think just the bot laners, man. The bot lane. I like them. I think that TBDS, I like how they're expanding. I think it's very clear that they know where their weaknesses are. The main thing that BDS and SK need to work on is just their mid to late game execution. I think this weekend, BDS had very, very good games. I liked what I saw from BDS. SK Gaming, I think that they can become a lot more precise. I feel like in terms of the expansion of SK Gaming, the expansion in SK Gaming, like SK Gaming and BDS need to work on the same things. How they farm side, how they pressure side, how they just play a farming game, right? If you look at, for example, a team like Team Liquid, a team like G2, a team like Fnatic, maybe not Fnatic, Team Liquid specifically, they are very, very good at farming side. It's like when they are ahead, they farm side and they make farm more and they take enemy jungle camps. They focus on farm. SK is the type of team that is looking for fights when there's no fight. It's just sometimes a very outdated way of looking at the game. I think when the comms are, guys, we should fight. No, the comms should be, we are stronger. Let's fucking dominate and push the lanes as far as we can. And then let the enemy force into us. Take the space, take the camps. Because the thing is, to make a call, we should fight. The thing is, it takes two fucking people to dance. And sometimes, most players, a lot of teams as well, they are there looking for a fight. And then when that fight doesn't happen, they're like, well, we should fight. And then they do some dumbass shit, right? You have watched, if you've watched a lot of Pro League, you see teams do dumbass shit. And it's based on a communication like that. We should fight, we are stronger. Well, what if the enemy team doesn't want to fight? What then? They can choose to sit under their turrets and wait. What then? You need to understand how to progress. You need to understand how to read information. And the way you progress is by pushing sides all the way. Take control of a river. Take control of the camps, because this is how you blow up leads. And then when you generate more gold by pushing sides and threatening tier 2s and taking enemy jungle camps, eventually you get to the point where you have enough gold to pressure Nash. If the enemy team isn't insanely far behind and you can't dive them, it's very easy to play a game where you protect tier 2s. It's very easy to play a game where you protect tier 2s. And in that case, how do you progress the game? You need to generate more gold. How do you generate more gold? You make sure that every fucking wave is pushed in, and you make sure that you contest the enemy jungle camps. Cut through. If you have prior first, cut through. You progress the game the same way as you do in the early game. If the enemy team doesn't want to fight, there's no fight. And this is the main thing the BDS and SK need to be working on, you know? This is going to be the evolution of their game. But because I think that they have good player capacity. I am impressed with Adam. Adam is playing the right champs in my mind. I think Adam is playing the right champs. Nucleid is trying to play the side laners more. I think that Ice and Labrov are fantastic players. I feel like SK and BDS are like mirrors of each other. Really, really mirrors of each other. They are very similar. It's going to be very interesting to watch how both of these teams kind of progress and move forward. You know? It's going to be super, super interesting to see these teams grow specifically. Super, super interesting. And that's it for the LEC rundown, guys. That's it for the LEC rundown.